Hello again, you're watching Junction, and it's a wee update just to let you guys see where I'm at the moment. Not much work been done lately, due to a few things. Obviously it's a hobby that gets done in my spare time, which I've not had a lot of. Also, I've had manflu, so I've been in bed for a wee while. You can hear it in my throat a wee bit, I'm a bit better now, thankfully. So I just thought I'd just run over what I've done. Not much. I think the last video I had the outside tracks going down into the station, and I had the junction all set out if I remember right. What I've had to do is I've had to move the junction because this point here was right up against this point, and it didn't allow my station enough clearance. So I've had to move these 3 points this way, it's about 4 inches. It's made all the difference, so I'm quite happy with that. I've still got sleepers to put into the spaces, obviously, but I'm going to do some running tests hopefully soon. All the dropper wires are all soldered on. Holes are all drilled for the point motors, although I haven't fitted point motors yet. But I'll get the point motors fitted. I've also wired up the, you get the wee wire that comes off the frog for your polarity switch. They're all soldered up and wires coming off them, so they can go to the point motors when I install the point motors. Other than that, I've moved the junction. I finished off the main line over here. Obviously I've ordered copper cladding for this, so I'm going to solder these tracks to copper cladding, so that should make it, make it a bit better once this lift out section goes on here as well. You can see this main line, branch line, it's supposed to be a retaining wall here, because mind this will be covered, this will be hidden right along here. I made a boo-boo when I was laying this. It was basically, like I said before, I've only got 12 feet along as well, and I wanted to maximise the space as possible. These curves are not very tight. I think the furthest away ones are 21 inch radius, and the inside ones are, I think one of them is part 21 and it goes down to an 18, or it's 18 to a 21, and the other one's an 18 inch radius curve. This one here's a 36 inch radius. I put a Mark 3 coach around that, and it sits lovely on it. So, but this bit will be shown, this bit will be hidden. Now the boo-boo I made was underneath here. I've got a batten that this is screwed to. The batten sticks out, and I can't get the point motor on underneath. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put a surface mount point motor. It'll be hidden anyway, but I have to put a surface mount point motor, and the wire for the frog I'm going to have to an on switch, everywhere you put it, the power goes. So I have to put DCC plus to the bottom, minus the top, the wire for the frog to the middle, and that should switch the polarity. I think I've got that right. This is just me smart thinking, but I don't know. I'm not an expert with electrics, so I'll soon see if it works. If it's not, I'll have to resolve it another way. Not that it really matters. Anyway, so there you have it. That's what I've done so far. Station tracks are all finished. 3-way points in. You come up here. This one here, this takes you to the TND. That'll take you into the TND. I'm going to redesign the TND slightly. This curve point here will take you in here to the side, and it'll take you to another point, and you'll have 2 lines here next to the tanks and the pump house, etc. So my idea is to put a fence along here with a gate, which I think will look quite good, and I'll put a couple of lights in, like floodlights or something. This bit here will be taken up by the TND as well. There'll be either a high fence going around this as well, but it'll look nice when it's done. I've got a lot of plans for it. It's going to take a lot of years to get it how I want it, but the main thing was to try and get the track the way I wanted it. That's the main priority, and I think I've done all right. So like I said, I've got these two spaces. I'll probably do this tomorrow. I'll put these sidings in tomorrow, and then that's this end of the board finished. I'll let it finish, because this is a scenic section, obviously. And I'll come back and do this side, or I'll leave the TMD till last, and I'll take my 3 tracks around this curve here and across to the end of the scenic section over here, and that way that just leaves the TMD after that, obviously, and the fiddle yard, which will run along the back there. So it's just time, it takes time, but I'm doing my best. I've had the flu and work and personal life, it's just, I say, it gets done in my spare time, so I'm quite happy with the progress. I'm not in a hurry to finish this. I'd like to see trains running. Must admit, I'm really getting itchy feet. I'd love to see my trains running. So I'll probably, hopefully in the next week or 2, have trains running. I'm coming down to show you. You can see the wires, the dropper wires underneath. Dropper wires all over the place. All connected up to the track. Red and black, obviously negative. I've got these purple wires. These are for the frogs, for this polarity switch. So keeping them all colour coded so I know what's what. I haven't put a bus wire in yet. I've ordered wire for a bus wire, so that should be arriving in the next few days. So hopefully I'll try and get these 3 lines finished around to here, then that way I can get the bus wire in, and maybe try and even just run a train and see what happens. But I've got the copper clad arriving for the joins for the lift out sections on the board. So obviously I can't do much with that. There's a section there. But once I get the copper clad, I can get it soldered, track soldered to it, get it fastened down. Finish off this side in here, and it's just that side. So it shouldn't be too long. I thought I'd just give you guys a quick look into what I've been doing. Not much, but it's getting there. Quite impressed. So I'll leave you with that for now, and I'll get back to you soon. I'm hopefully Hornby have just released a black 5. I've always been after a black 5. I don't have one, so hopefully I'll have a black 5 on the tracks in a couple of weeks' time as well. Fingers crossed. Anyway, I'll leave you there, and I'll see you at the next update. Okay, ta-ra.